Namaste, everyone. Welcome to class. It's nice to see your beautiful faces on the screen. Thanks to you who actually share your faces with me. I appreciate it. It feels like I'm not teaching in outer space. Okay, so nice comfortable seat. Just wiggle for a moment on your sit bones so they get all nice and squishy. And then for a moment, just pull your belly into your spine. Let that begin the lift to your spinal cord. Lifting up, letting your head wobble a little bit at the top. And then relax your belly, relax your shoulders, your jaw, just relax everything for just a few moments. Then your gaze can come to the floor, or your eyes can close completely. And noticing where you have your breath, just finding it in the front body, back body, side body, down in your belly, up in your chest, just finding it, noticing it for a few moments. And then let's coordinate our breaths together for just a moment. Just fluing into that pran. Exhale and draw the belly button toward the spine. And then release the belly and let breath come in all on its own. Exhale, belly to spine. So not a big breath, not a long breath. And then relax the belly and breath comes in. 3 more. And then just noticing how you feel in your body after those few abdominal breaths. Drawing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. A special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga. And with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. This whole practice is about self-knowledge, self-transformation. What do you need this morning? What would guide you on your path to self-transformation? Turning it into a positive sentence as if it were already happening. And then repeating it to yourself 3 times, a sankalpa, sacred vow. And then symbolically, just letting it slip from your mind down into your heart space. And then let's chant one Om together. Exhaling the breath all the way out. And then a nice big inhale to chant. Om. Just keep your belly soft for a couple more breaths. And then gently fluttering your eyes open. And then just reaching the arms out to the side a minute. Wiggle your fingers and your wrist and lean a little bit over to the left, just a little bit over to the left. Good. And then come back into the center. Same thing, a little bit over to the right. And then stretch the arms out. Think about the veins that are under your clavicle, those subclavian veins, where all of our lymph comes back into the system to drain. And just think about opening those for a moment. So just shoulder rolls, rolling the shoulder in both directions, just stimulating that area. And thinking about this morning, our whole practice being nadi shodhana, our whole practice being to cleanse and open the nadis in the body, our energy channels, letting the energy flow. And then just reach really far side to side for just a minute. Good. And then just relax your arms. Place the back of your hand on your legs for a moment and just notice as you relax and soften into the shoulders how your body feels. Just notice. Good. And then let's start at the bottom of the body. So coming on down to our feet, just extending your legs out in front. First, just some big circles with the feet. And then in the other direction. And again. And other direction. Good. And then press through the heels and draw your toes towards you for a moment. Good. And then point your toes. And then flex just the toes back while the foot is still pointed in plantar flexion, but we're going to dorsally flex the toes. Good. Excellent. And then press through your heels again. Keep the heels on the floor, even though you might be tempted to take them off. Good. And then just relax your legs for a moment. Notice where that action was coming from, on your shins and on your calves, okay? So one more time, flex the feet, and then really point the toes. Point, 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 point. And then again, just bring the toes back. Keep the foot in that pointed position. And then stack the toes on top of the heels. Good. And then lower just your little toes. Try to keep your big toe up toward the ceiling. And then bring it back, and then lower just the big toes for a moment. And then bring it back. One more time. All the little toes headed down. And bring them back, and then one more time, just the big toes headed down, the other toes towards you. Good. And then relax again. Notice how you feel on your shins and your calves. Good. And now let's put the soles of the feet together for a moment. And we're going to do just a little fun thing. So put your hands together, and then you're going to peel apart your thumb and your big toe. Just the big toe. Peel apart your index finger and just the first toe. Peel apart your middle finger, middle toe, ring finger, ring toe, and little toe, little finger, little toe. Okay, let's put them back in the same way. So just little finger, little toe, ring finger, ring toe, middle finger, middle toe, index finger, index toe, and thumbs with big toes. Good. Really just press your foot together, press the heel, foot, look down at your arches for just a moment. Notice how your arches on both sides. Hopefully you might be able to see all the way through to the mat, which means both sides of your feet have arches. Good. And then just pick up your knees, bring them back together, and extend your legs out one more time. Good. And then just walking up the leg a little bit, just working with our knees for a moment. Right. I'd love to put this knee back in here, but my arthritic hip won't let me. So if you can have both of your knees in front of you, not like this one, they won't go there. Okay. So both knees in front of you. Let me put this one beside the knee. Okay. Okay, it's gonna do it. All right, so we're gonna just lift the leg, making the shin parallel to the floor. Flex the foot, feel your quad engage, and then lower. And then the other leg, coming up nice and slowly with control, parallel shin. Good. Feel the quad engage, and then lower. Good. One more time, coming up, parallel shin. Let's point, flex, point, flex. Just feel your quad and lower. Good. Now with the left one, come up, just to parallel. Point, and flex, point, and flex, and then lower. Good. And then just one more time, sitting up nice and tall, noticing your diamond that you've created with your legs. Good. And then not letting it go down any further than that, just noticing how it is right now at this moment of class. Okay, so how comfortable it is, how it feels deep in your hip sockets. Just noticing. Good. And then walk down your legs just a little bit. Don't round your back yet. Just keep your spine nice and long. Good. And so this little, I'm going to go to the side for a moment so you can see. So this little Shira Padasana, this little head to foot pose, it's not, we don't have to touch the crown of the head into the foot, but that's the direction of the energy. So if we're just dealing with the energy, right, we're going to create a circuit. So Shira, the head, to Pada, the feet. So just walking your hands down your shins and tucking your chin into your chest. So just creating that circuit of energy. Some of you loosey-gooseys will have your head down in your arches. Congratulations, that's great. And for those of us who might be a little tighter in the morning, we're just looking for that energetic connection, head to foot. Pull your belly back to your spine. Tuck your chin into your chest. Breathe. This is a good place to place the breath between the shoulder blades, the back. And then gently begin to peel the chin off the chest. Look out past your feet, past your toes, down past your mat. And then pressing with your hands to come up. Bring your hands in between your legs and like right between into that diamond. And then press again into the arms to come. So not using so much your back as using your hands and your arms. Good. And now we're in a nice upright position. We're going to draw the knees together. Place them right out in front. Bring our hands back behind us. So all we're going to do is put ourselves up into a reverse table briefly. So press into your fingers, really open your hands wide before we go anywhere. Getting a nice big base, opening our hands wide. Lift your toes for a moment. Spread your toes and then drape them down onto the floor. And then gently begin to lift your hips. So we're hoping to keep our knees over our ankles. So this is Nabi Darshan. We're having Darshan with our belly button. So just looking down at your belly button, staying strong for a moment. And then slowly, you have to come backwards to set your hips back where they were. Good. Coming back nice and easy. Good. Let's come up, sitting upright, and then do your wrist, just because for a lot of us, we're not used to using our hands with half our body weight like that. Good. And then back again. Now, some of you will feel comfortable with your hands like I had mine, and some of you will feel more comfortable with your hands like this. So maybe check it out and see which one feels best for you this morning. And it may feel different another day, okay? So wherever you are, big fingers, big hands, really press into the ball of the index finger, and then coming up, and again, gazing at your belly button. Maybe lift your toes to make sure you're solid on all four corners of your feet, and then drape the toes down without grabbing. One more breath. And then we're going to slowly set the hips back down where they were. Good. And then come up, upright one more time. Nice and upright. Draw your spine up by holding onto your shins. Belly is firm to the spine. Breath is in the chest. Good. And then we're going to come forward into table, regular table. So our hands underneath the wrist. Good. And we're going to work for just a little bit with our hip sockets, okay? So for just a moment, a little wiggle in your hips, not too big. Notice where that wiggle comes from. It starts where your last thoracic rib is, your last thoracic spine, and into the lumbar spine. So right at the top of that, okay? So when we do cat pose, I want you to think about all the way from your tailbone right into the brainstem, your rounding spine. Press into the floor with your hands and your feet. And then let's come back gently, find your breath, come back gently into neutral. So a little bit of your lumbar curve, cervical curve in your neck. And then we're going to go the other direction. Let's curl our toes under for this one, and then tilt the pelvis so that you have the tailbone headed to the back of the head, back to the head headed toward the pelvis. You can gaze in front or you can gaze up through the third eye. Just the gaze. Your head doesn't need to fall back. Good. And then coming into neutral again. You can lay the feet out or keep them curled under, whichever is most comfortable for you. You're going to clean the inside of a peanut butter jar. So just moving over. Keep your hips and your shoulders in the same plane. So no dropping any hip out of the plane. Your hip can only go as far as your shoulder can go. And then back in the opposite direction, just cleaning the inside of that jar. Good. And then come into neutral. And then let's push back just until you get your no crease in your wrist. So just push back. You may need to walk your hands a little bit more forward to make sure you have no crease in your wrist for a moment. You can look at the floor. So we're not looking for anything now except a long spine interaction. Giving your wrist a rest. And then gently look forward and draw your hands back to fit underneath your shoulders one more time. Okay. So I'm going to face you for a moment. Today, I decided this earlier. It was going to put the two mats in a cross, and I forgot. I wouldn't be able to look and see you occasionally. All right. So we're going to start with our left hip. So just lifting leg and making some circles. Then the other direction. And then release it. And then let's go in the other direction. Circles with the right leg. They can be as big or as small as you'd like this morning. And then the other direction. Good. And then coming back into neutral, finding your neutral. Good. And then let's take a cat again, the arching cat. Curl your toes under if you don't already have them there. Tuck the chin into the chest, get round in the spine. And then slowly and gently bring yourself into the other cat. Arching in the opposite direction. Good. Excellent. And then coming into neutral, finding that neutral spot for a moment. Good. And then we're going to go passing just briefly through mountain pose, through downward facing dog, just for a moment. So if you're not inverting, remember this is an inversion, and you might just press up from your table pose. Okay. So for those of us who can invert, no glaucoma, no eye pressure problems, no uncontrolled blood pressure, coming briefly into mountain, and then walking yourself up into rag. So just letting your arms hang for a moment, head hang. This is also a bit of an inversion, though if you're not inverting, just look forward and bring your spine parallel to the floor. So either way, or here for a moment, notice my knees are bent, just gently bent. And then I'm going to bring the hands to right above the knees, glue the elbows by the side, come to parallel, bend my knees. If I were sitting, I'm going to sit right into a chair. But instead of sitting in the chair this morning, I'm going to just Stand up. Okay. So let's come to the front of the mat for a moment. Good. And just finding yourself in your Tadasana. So just playing for a moment. I'm going to back up just so you can see my feet and my legs for a moment. So finding yourself in your Tadasana. So your heels are behind your second and third toes. There's no rotation. Good. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to go back to the front. So now that we've established how we are, okay. So we're going to take an inhale with a nice upward reach. Just reaching upward and looking upward for a moment. Good. And then we're going to come forward, just toward a forward fold. Decide if you're staying here, if you're not inverting. If you're on the heavy days of your menstrual cycle, it's not advised to invert. And then releasing. Just put us in hand to foot pose. Good. And then gaze forward for a moment. Begin to drop your hips down into Samukhanasana, even angle pose, or often called chair pose. I'm like this, John. Good. And then let's come up for just a moment. Again, arms up overhead. And this time I want you to think about showing your sternum. So nothing's happening from below my rib cage. So all I'm going to do is open my heart a little. Okay. So just a little bit of a back bend in the thoracic spine. Nothing happened below. And then coming back upright. Hopefully you can see that subtlety. There's just that little bit and that little bit. So it's not much that's happening. Good. Okay, and hands to the heart. All right, let's do that one more time. All right. So inhale, arms are going to float up. Good. Exhale, we're going to either fold forward or go to what we often call flat back. So either here or here, you decide. And then sweep the arms and come into chair. Like you're sitting in a chair. Good. Knees are not together. Knees are not together. They're right where they are in front. And then all the way up. And that little tiny bit of a back bend up in the upper spine, not in the lower. And then release. Okay. I am going to take my second mat. Sit at an angle. Because I do want to do it sideways for you. Okay. So everybody ready? Hands into the heart. Good. So sweeping the arms down, coming up. So this first time we aren't worried about any kind of back bend at all. Then we're going to come forward. So you can forward fold. My knees are going to stay bent. And I'm going to look here if I'm not inverting. If I can invert and want to invert, I'm going to come all the way down. Hand to foot pose. And then I'm going to sweep the arms to the side and come into chair, just dropping my hips down. And then come up. And once I'm feeling stable in the hips, just that little bit of showing of my arms and my chest to the ceiling. Good. And then back into neutral, hands into the heart. Good. How did that go? Okay. Let's try one more time. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, float the arms down, and then inhale, arms floating up. Upward salute. Good. We're going to head forward fold, either stopping midway or releasing completely, hand to foot pose. Let's sweep the arms out, take a seat into chair. Good. And then coming up nice and slowly, This time opening the arms, opening the chest. Good. And then hands into the heart. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So let's go ahead and take our legs out a little. Just working for a little bit into those deep hips. Okay. So knowing where our action is going to come from here deep in the hip, and making sure that our heels are behind our second and third toe, that they're not in any type of rotation. Okay. So check in. Good. And then I'm going to, so normally Babaji would start on the left side, but I mirror you guys. So that means my right side I would start on. And my right side is where my arthritis is so bad I can't really show you a correct pose on that side. So I'm starting with my left side, which you can decide if you want to mirror or not. I think it's totally fine. There's so many different ways of people starting on the right or starting on the left. So just for you to know, I'm going to, hopefully you'll mirror me, and I'm starting on my right. But just for you to know that Babaji always started on the left side. And that may have been very personal for him, needing left side Ida instead of Pingala stimulation. So just putting it out there. We'll have to think about it. Okay. I'm going to start with lifting up my right heel and then turning. Now watch what happened to my body. Lifted up the heel and I externally rotated the leg from the hip. Good. Lower the heel and knee over ankle. Good. Spine is still upright, so nothing really went on here except a little bit of movement from my hip to the side. From the belly button from here went to here. Okay, arms floating up. Let's open the shoulders a few times. So let's go back and forth. It's really stimulating that the whole subclavian area. And then flip the hands. Good. Now press through the outside of your left foot. Press, 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 press. Keep your body upright. Good. And then let's look out to the left for a moment. And then let's arc chins up and look out to the right. And I say arc the chin up to make sure the neck stays safe. Good. And now we're going to reach over as if we could pick something up. And let's have we'll have a tendency here to come in with your left shoulder. No, left shoulder stays absolutely open. Whole left side stays open, and you're reaching, 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 reaching. And then let's put the hand on the thigh with the elbow behind us and sweep the arm up. And then sweep it down and up. Opposite direction. Good. And then up to the ceiling, keeping the armpit really open for a moment. And then from the shoulder, close it off and draw that arm in close to your ear. So side angle pose. Hopefully you can see a Tadasana right there from my head down to my foot. Good. No collapsing. None of this stuff. Okay. Nice Tadasana. Good. And then we're just going to straighten the leg. Great. And then arms opposite for a beautiful triangle. I've told you before, this is the triangle right here that interests me. That there's no collapsing, that this angle and that angle are the same. Good. Take a nice inhale and exhale up to neutral. Good. Hands toward me, open chest, and then relax. Good. And if your body stayed like mine, bring it on back, bring it on back. Let's lift the heel again and unrotate. Okay, let's do the other side. So I have a lot less mobility, so do as we did on the other side. Do as I say, not necessarily as I do. Lift the heel and externally rotate that leg. Okay, good. Look down and make sure you can see your big toe. You want to make sure that big toe is there. That means you haven't dropped your knee in. Good. And the body is upright. And check with your back leg. Does it need to be out a little bit more to give you much more support to keep your body upright? Just check in and then float the arms up and just back and forth a few times. Good. And then arms up. Right. And then you can sink a little deeper if you want. Just don't take your knee too far over your ankle. A centimeter's fine, but just not putting it out there. Good. And then look over your right shoulder. And then arc your chin up and look over your shoulder. Good. Big fingers, big broad hands. Lift the pelvic floor, lift your belly. Good. And then you're going to reach, 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 reach. This stays open. Nothing collapses here. Nothing collapses here. Good. And then let's put that hand, elbow behind you. Good. And then arm up. And let's go back in the other direction 3 times. Keeping the body up. And then this direction. Good. And really hold the body up. And then from the shoulder, tuck it in, close it in, close to your ear. Find that Tadasana from the crown of your head back down to your foot. Beautiful. Nice. I like what I'm seeing. Good. And then gently straighten that leg. Slowly so you don't lose everything you just gained. And then upper arm, lower arm. Good. So this right here is just as long as your leg. Beautiful. Excellent. A couple more breaths. Just breathing. Good. And then you're going to slowly, slowly, slowly come up, bend your knee. Good. And then lift the heel and unrotate. Bring your hands down to your hips. We're going to come forward to that flat back area. So just coming forward. And this is where I like to say, widen your hips a little. So maybe make sure your heels are out behind your second and third toe. That will help broaden the hips. I'm just holding on to my hand behind me. Pull the belly to the spine, gazing at the floor. And then place your hands at the top of the thighs, bend your knees slightly, exhale up. Good. Let's heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, and then step forward comfortably. Great. And then if you have a block, we're going to come forward. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to come forward though. But I'd like for us to do this twist with a block. So if you have a block, if not, if you even have a chair or something that's like knee height that you can use, just so that we're not headed all the way, which sometimes we do. Today I want to keep it. So again, go back, heels behind your second and third toes, nice broad open hips, and then begin to head forward. And then let's place our hands on the bone. So really find your heels exactly where they need to be. You'll feel that in your hip socket. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Good. And then we're going to keep our right hand on the block. And our left arm, we're going to swing it around and put the back of the hand on the hip over on the right side. So I'm going to lean down so you can hopefully see where my hand is over on that side. Okay, and nice long spine. And then I want you to think about your left shoulder. Lift your toes. That'll keep your legs engaged. And then open your left shoulder and take your gaze with it to the left. Let's close it back down. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. This time we're going to stay for a bit. So inhale, open, stay there. Now just reach your arm and hand down along your spine, and then flip the palm and the whole arm so that your palm is facing your left wall with the thumb up, and then reach that arm up overhead. Press into the hand on the block. And then gently lower the arm. Good. Everybody made it through it. Okay, so left hand firmly on the block. You can always raise your block a little if you're nice and tall and you want to go a little bit higher, or grab a chair, something like that. Whichever you might want to do, it's just fine. I just want you more in a flat back than anything else. No rounded spine. Okay, so this arm, we're going to put the back of the hand now over on the left side. And I'm going to let that shoulder open and move my rib cage. Okay, we're going to inhale, open. Take the gaze with it. Exhale, release. Inhale, open. Keep your hips stable. Exhale, release. Inhale, open. Exhale, release. This time we're going to stay. Inhale, open. And just reach your arm back down. Little finger towards your tailbone, thumb toward the ceiling. And then lift the arm up. Press into the block. Breathing. And then slowly release the arm, which will release the whole twist. Good. And gaze forward. Great. And then heel, toe, heel. Just the heel for a moment. I'm going to come one more. I'm going to go toe, heel one more time, because I'm going to come down into this little toe balance. I'm going to make my way to the floor. So you're just going to make your way to the floor however you like. I'm coming just through a toe balance for a moment, just so that my knees feel like they're safe. And then I'm going to come all the way down. Good. Get to this side. Right. So just finding yourself nice and tall. So when we go down, we have this choice, right, of headed down. So I'm going to go just to here till I feel myself on my sacrum, and then I'm going to come right back up. Because I want us to learn how to sort of feel that belly engagement. And then for most of it, it may be too much right now, but we're not going to go all the way down. So we're just coming down, pull the belly in, pull the belly in, pull the belly in. Feel yourself like on your sacrum, and then come back up. Good, one more time. Pull the belly in, lean back. I see one muscle like trembling. That's good. And come back. Good. And then continue to hold on to your thighs, coming all the way here. Good. So now we were like on our sacrum. Now bring your hands right beside your rib cage, and then come down onto your forearms, and then walk your forearms in all the way down. Good. That's a good little transition workout to getting down with using your belly, but not necessarily all at once. Okay. So just find yourself lying down still for a moment. We'll do one of Babaji's many Shavasana. Let your body go. Melt into the floor. Heavy hips, heavy shoulders, heavy feet, heavy head. Relax your tongue in the mouth, jaw separates. Good. And then if you have your block handy, go ahead and grab it. Just hold on to it for a sec. Bend your knees, put your feet firmly on the floor. And then let's lift our hips and place the block underneath. I'm going to suggest the low side, just a nice low side. So from here, you're going to make a decision which you want to do. So maybe don't do it yet. Just sit up and look and see what's happening so that you're not craning your neck and putting pressure on your arteries in your neck. So just look for a second. I have my block underneath my sacrum, so it's nice and comfy. Okay. And this is to give us a back bend, which I'm taking now with both legs. You don't have to take it with both legs. You're totally welcome. And I want to make sure that I'm not jutting my ribs out. I want my ribs to stay nice, and there's going to be a little bit of jutting, but not much. So this back bend is to relax. You can also take this back bend just with one leg, and it still feels really good to your spine, really good for your lumbar. And then with the other leg, right? So just briefly, now find yourself in this position. I'm going to come out of it and see my folks on the screen and just see how you're doing. Good. So feel free to try both legs for a moment and then to see that it really helps also with one leg. Kind of experimenting and notice how it feels in your body at this moment in time. Good. Excellent. Okay. Bend your knees. Lift up for a moment. Take the block out from under you. Drop your hips back down and stretch your legs out one more time. Okay. From right here, we're going to do a little bit of breathing. So I'm going to put my thumbs on my ribs, my low ribs, and my fingertips on my belly. So just having thumbs on my low ribs, fingertips on my belly. And then observing. Where does my breath go? Remember, the diaphragm is like a stocking cap. It's attached to all of your ribs, to the back, all the way around like a parachute. But at the spine, it doesn't move that much. It's a nice big aponeurosis, which has no blood running right in there. But it's very flexible around your whole rib cage. You're just noticing your breath. And then just seeing for a moment if we can, on purpose, leave the ribs where they are and let the belly itself push up toward the ceiling with an inhale. Inhale, belly. And just exhale. The belly will come to the spine. Naturally, gravity takes it down. And then when you're ready for your inhale, inhale into the belly. Keep the ribs relatively stable. or three more. And then just let the breath go, no control. So just noticing where it comes in when you're not controlling it, chest, belly, right in between, just at the diaphragm. That's where it is when we're sleeping. Diaphragm's moving half a centimeter, maybe a centimeter if you're having like an interesting dream. Okay, so let's bend our knees, place our feet on the floor. Okay, then without touching your legs, just draw your knees in toward your chest. Notice how that takes your low back closer to the floor. You might scoot your upper back further up just to get a nice long spine. So we're not touching our legs. It's just what happens naturally. Good. And then this roll may not be what you want to do. So you have to think about it for a second. You may want to just roll over to your side and push yourself up. I'm going to suggest if you like rolling up, place your hands behind your knees and do just a couple of little rolls before one big roll to sitting. So you decide. You can always roll over to the side and just roll up. Today, we're going to do our short meditation right now, and then I'm going to give you a Shavasana. Because the best thing that's ever happened to me was when Jaya used to teach Shavasana at the end of the meditation. Not teach it, just allow you to have it. There's nothing more delicious in the world than a Shavasana after meditation. So we're going to have a nice short 5-minute meditation, and then we'll proceed with the class. Okay. So if you have your object of concentration, bring it into your mind. And if you don't, I want you to think of that blue sky, blue, blue, blue sky. If you can see, Julie, you can see the blue sky above that snow-capped mountain. And just noticing for a moment, just noticing that sky is pure and blue and nothing in its way. And a thought comes in, click, and that's a cloud. And it's just going to go past and all the way off of your screen. And you see just blue sky for a moment. And then another thought pops in, and you watch it go all the way across. You're not engaging it, you're just watching it, just playing a witness, noticing it going. Just keeping that blue sky in your mind. clear blue sky. Gently bringing your awareness back into the breath. These five senses are a way of knowing the universe. Hearing my voice, letting your eyes roll in the sockets in one direction and then the other. Right. Letting your tongue roam the mouth, the back of the teeth, roof of the mouth, swishing it along the front of the teeth, and then opening the mouth wide as if you were yawning. Taste. Wiggle your nose. Notice any of the smells in the room. And then notice the weight of your body on the floor. The sense of touch. These five senses that bring us all of our information throughout the day, hopefully having given them a cleansing through our practice. Slowly and gently begin to roll over into embryo pose. Just curl up for a moment, all safe and secure. And then moving always from corpse pose into embryo pose, leaving behind anything that doesn't serve us and bringing new possibilities into the world with us. And then press the floor away, spiral up into a comfortable seat. Just finding yourself nice and tall and relaxed. And then as you're ready, bringing your hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our diligent practice, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Any other prayers or petitions you might like to add this morning? Someone or something? And then letting these thoughts symbolically drop from our mind down into our heart space, and our heart space right into the very palms of our hands, and lift them up and just let them go off into the universe. Just let go. Bring your hands back into the heart. Om Tat Sat. Namaste.